the little yellow filet beans, peppers. Look at all my peppers I have. Yeah, so this is the greenhouse. This is our broccolis and cauliflowers. These are gorgeous. My hot peppers have gone insane. These are called little fingers. They don't get as big. Salvanovas have a lot of romaine lettuce. Hi, welcome back to the garden. I'm Dawn. I want to welcome you to October. Everything is still flourishing. I have my bush beans still. I have tomatoes still going. I have lettuce. I still have a little zucchini. I have eggplants and peppers. So even though it's October, gardening is not over. And we're getting a lot of our winter crops in. So first we're going to be picking our bush beans and showing you that. And then I'm going to take you around the garden and show you a little tour. I have broccoli planted in the greenhouse. I have all kinds of other things going on. My winter carrots and beets and turnips and all that planted. So we'll get these bush beans picked and then I'll take you for a little tour. And here's our 2 beds of bush beans. We've been eating on them, but these bush beans, I planted 3 different types here, and most of them all come in at the same time on each plant. So if you look here, all these on this plant, all these beans are ready to be picked. There's no small ones. And planting beans that mature all about the same time gives me the opportunity to pull out the whole row of bush beans and be able to do my canning, so I can do all my canning all at once instead of in little tiny batches. I can just take a day, pull the beans, wash them, cut them, and do my canning that way. So it's October, so we're not going to replant now, but normally throughout the season when we plant a row of bush beans, we do this, we pull out the whole bed and then we plant back another whole row of bush beans, and then we keep doing that throughout the whole season, and then we have beans all summer long, and then I have plenty to can, and then I'm eating them all winter long too. Alright, so Tom and I will get to work and we'll pick some beans. So when we pull out the beans, we pull out the whole bush, stick them in our crate here, and the rest of the plant goes into our bin, and then we'll throw this into our big compost bin, and yeah, we'll get to work and show you how we do it. Alrighty. Alright, so that's the end of this bed. I'll show you what it looks like. So that's jade. Next we're going to be doing this bed, which is just full of the little yellow filet beans. So half the bed's those. You see how many? It's loaded. And then on this far end, I have the green filet beans. So here's all the stuff we're going to put in the compost, and here's all the beans. This one's jade, and being October, my tomatoes are still going, especially my Regal Plum. I still got a good amount on there. Don't know if they're all going to turn red. Yeah, so they're still looking good. So I still have a good amount of plum on here. So I got to figure out what I'm going to make with these. I do make a dish with tortellinis and fresh plum tomatoes. See this one? It's looking bad, and this is usually at the end of the season how they start to look, but not, you know, most of them are looking really good. So it looks like I'm gonna be picking tomatoes for a while yet. Tom just went to empty the can. He's bringing it back now, and then we can start on the second row. All right, so that row is done. There is the jade beans. We're moving on to the filet beans. It takes a lot longer to pick the little French beans because they're small, but there's like 3 times as many on a plant. And these are looking really good. I don't see any rust at all so far. All right, so all the beans are picked. I'll show you my little filet beans. So all the beans are picked. Here's the green filet, the yellow filet, and my green jade. So all the beans are picked, and we're not going to be putting anything back in these beds since it is October. Yeah, so over here I have my golden beets, and I also have cylinder beets, and cylinder beets are just starting to be ready. There we go. And I'm going to be canning these this year. I'm going to make pickled beets. That's why I planted so many in a row instead of just a few here and there like I normally do. All right, so I'll show you the rest of the garden. I showed you my plum tomatoes right here already, and we'll work our way down. All right, so I'm going to show you some of this. We have a row of peppers here, and during this heat wave that we had during the summer, they stopped producing all the flowers, so the peppers slowed down a lot. But then all of a sudden, as soon as it cooled off, it started producing flowers, and now I have an abundance of peppers. Look at all my peppers I have. So I have so many. I have the yellow, I have orange, and the peppers really took off. So we have lots of peppers. Look at this. I should have put more trellis up. Look at all these peppers. So I'm gonna have to be busy. These are my black beauties. I'm gonna have to get busy and start processing some of these. I dry a lot of peppers. They're very easy to hydrate. Those are the black beauties, and right here, these are the dragonfly. Yeah, so we have this whole row of peppers that are just booming with peppers. I'll pick off the colored ones and start processing those first. And this row right here didn't do very well, but this was planted in, I think, July. And we planted carrots, turnips, and beets. And the heat just like wrecked everything. So I weeded and we just kept what was alive. And so now I'm going to get some beets, I think. Turnips we might get some, and we have a little bit of carrots down there. So whatever we get from this bed is a plus. The heat just destroyed it. This row of flowers right here, these were my sunflowers. These are pretty much done. But I still have another flower bed over there that's doing well. Some of my basil still doing okay. And I still have a lot of bees out here, so whatever flowers and basil I don't use, I'm gonna just leave here because the pollinators just love it. Then the rest of this bed is all dill. Like I said, this is my dill. It's getting nice and thick. I'm gonna be dehydrating all this dill. Some of it I might freeze. The heads I freeze, and when you freeze dill, you have to make sure you have it in an airtight, and I mean airtight. I always use my food saver bags, because if you have it not in an airtight container, it will smell up your freezer. So you have to make sure you have it in an airtight container, otherwise you'll have a lot of smell in your freezer. So basically the only flowers I have in this bed are these, which they're still going. Yeah, so this is the greenhouse. This is our broccolis and cauliflowers. I always start off with the earliest broccoli first, and then the later types and the later. So I have a 55 day, a 57, a 62 day, and then I go on to do some cauliflower. And that way, hopefully I can be picking all winter long. And in the center here, Tom has it all ready for lettuces, different greens, the Chinese cabbage. I have spinach started in the house, and my lettuce has started in the house. So as soon as they're large enough and it's not as hot out here, we'll be putting those out here. And hopefully everything will last us until the end of February. That's usually when I start new stuff, and then I plant early for spring. So a lot of times I plant in the end of February to the very beginning of March. I put new broccoli, cauliflowers out here, and then I have broccoli a month earlier than if I would have put it outside. So that's what our plans are for the greenhouse. All right, and then once you come out of the greenhouse, I have some squash that I planted. So I planted some squash here. If we have a mild fall, I'll get some. It's still flowering pretty nice. Right down here, let me see if I can show you. Right down here, I don't know if you can see that. That is a patty pan squash, just started. So there's a chance I might get some squash out of these. If not, I only wasted a couple seeds. I left some of my older squash here, and as you can see, growing them vertically, I have one up here that's about ready to be picked. I haven't checked these. See here? So I have a squash here. You see that? There's one there. And so depending on, and here's one here, and there's a whole bunch up here. Even though this zucchini looks bad, there's the base of it. Growing it vertically on this trellis. Look at all the zucchinis up here. We'll see what we get. And here's my other row of peppers, which looks amazing. Like I said, my peppers are doing so well since it cooled off. I don't know if you can see them all. There's my horn peppers, sweet frying peppers. They turn red. Down here, I have more of my flavor burst. Down here, then I have red night. That's right there. Probably roast some peppers and can those. I'll dehydrate some peppers, and I'll be using a lot of peppers. And hopefully we don't get a frost for a while, and then they'll be good for a while. And these flowers are doing well still. I'll make a bouquet out of these soon. Here's my flower bed. I still have some celosia. These are the ones that I like so much. Here's my tall salvia. That finally started blooming. Now these zinnias are almost done. I don't know if you can see the top here. So if I cut these, then I have some nice zinnias up there. And there's still some more that are gonna open. So like I said, I leave the zinnias and flowers there until they're totally done, because the pollinators still come. And that's my Mexican sunflower, which has done super amazing. And it's the first time I've ever grown it this year, and I will continue to grow it every year. I've cut this back so much. And the butterflies, hummingbirds, and bees just love this plant. And then back over here, my hot peppers have gone insane. So I have some jalapenos. Then my favorite pepper, hot pepper, is the Hungarian wax pepper, which is right there. And then I have poblanos, which I always plant poblanos. They always come on late for me, so I hardly ever get any nice size ones. But I actually have some decent sized poblanos this year. And then I still have some eggplants coming on. This is called Dancer. I have that. I have the Oriental eggplants. Those are very long. Those are really good for stir fries. So I have a couple of those left. And like I said, I have a few of the smaller eggplants that are still growing. I have down here. And then I have this one. These are called little fingers. They don't get as big. And that's what they look like. So I have those to eat too. And I have some more of my dill heads. Like I said, I freeze the dill heads, but the little leafy parts, I dehydrate. So over here are some cucumbers. We'll see how much time I have, if I get any cucumbers. But I do have a couple small ones on here, and the bees have been here every day. So that's nice. This, I have some regular shelling peas. I still have some of my tomatoes. I haven't taken these down yet. This is a bed for the fall. We will cover this, and then we'll be picking from this all winter long. This right here are rutabagas. So that's what these are. And this is two types of carrots, right here and right here. So what we'll do is we'll put the plastic over them, let them overwinter, and as I need them, just come out here during the winter and pulling them out and have fresh carrots all winter. And then in this row we have sugar snap peas, which they haven't started to flower yet, and they're still small. This bed's just another bed of flowers. This one I planted later, that's why they're still doing well. Here, these sunflowers are going to open in about a week. And then I have these sunflowers opening now. These are gorgeous. This bed is my fall broccoli and cauliflower. So it's doing well. It's really shut up. I planted this in one of my previous videos. So if you saw that, you can see how big it's gotten since then. And I'll also show you that when I do plant my broccoli and cauliflower, in the center I plant kohlrabi. And there's a kohlrabi started, and they grow pretty fast. So now at this time of year, as soon as it gets cold, they're gonna really shoot up. They'll be done way before the broccoli and cauliflower. So I'll be being able to pull them up as soon as they get to a better size. But they're growing down the whole center of this aisle. And this right here is another bed of carrots. So we're gonna do the same to this. We're gonna cover this with the hoops, put the plastic over it. And so these carrots go to here, and then these are the purple top turnips. So I'm hoping that they'll be ready for Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is the end of November for those who are not in America. So I showed them my broccoli, my carrots, tomatoes. I do have some more tomatoes still straggling on this side. And so this is a bed of lettuce and kale and Swiss chard. We have the kale here. We have the regular green kale, purple kale, Swiss chard. We have the salad greens. Then we start with the lettuces. We have the reds, the greens, the crispies, the salvanovas, and we also have a lot of romaine lettuce. And romaine lettuce is our favorite for putting on our sandwiches. So it's just starting to be big enough that I could take a couple leaves here and there. But now that it's cooling off at night, this should really, really take off and start growing. And that's pretty much it. So, you know, we have some tomatoes, stragglers, like I said. Tomatoes, they're almost done, but we are getting still a lot of these yellow Carolina Gold tomatoes. They're doing really well, even in this cool weather. Even though the tomato plants are about done, look at all the Carolina Gold. They're holding up very nicely for this late in the season. Well, I hope you enjoyed the garden tour. It's only the beginning of October. Our garden is still thriving and hopefully it continues. And we'll be definitely picking a lot more stuff before whenever it does decide to frost. So I have a lot of tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and zucchinis to harvest still. So I hope you come back and watch how we take care of our low tunnel beds with the carrots, how we put the hoops on and the plastic. And we'll be harvesting carrots and turnips all winter. And our greenhouse, hopefully we'll have broccoli in there in a month or two. But I got to get in there and take care of these beans, because if I pick too much at once, I'm going to get overwhelmed, and the stuff still stays nice out here. It's better than a refrigerator. So I'm going to get in there and start these beans and get them canning. And I hope you come back and watch our garden grow. And see you next time. Bye-bye. I always like to give the goats my leftovers. So I'll give them my beans